Trump, as Rich was talking about, faces an October 15th deadline to recertify the Iran nuclear deal. Reports suggest much of his national security principles want the deal kept in place. But as we've heard, he is leaving open the possibility of keeping his campaign promise to rip it up. Now get this. Iran's president says, well, that's nice, but you can't change the deal.
In the nuclear negotiations and under the nuclear deal, we have achieved benefits that are irreversible. Nobody can roll them back. Neither Mr. Trump nor 10 other Trumps. Those benefits are irreversible.
All right, joining us now, James Carafano with the Heritage Foundation. Neither Trump nor 10 other Trumps, says the Iranian president. Is he right in a sense that the U.S. is only one part of this nuclear deal? What we do, we sort of have to ask everybody else to go along. We can't demand it.
No, he's not even close to being right. First of all, if the Congress reimposes sanctions, the president signs off on the bill, and those sanctions include phrases like, if you do business with the Iranians, you can't do business with us. You're looking at major corporations and essentially say, I'm going to give up the American market for the Iranian market. And you know what? They're not going to do that.
So where does this go from here? We're fair to say we're a long way from a kind of sanctions bill you just talked about. We don't even have those kinds of sanctions on North Korea yet. So what are the intermediary steps between October 15th and what you just described?
Right. Well, first of all, remember, this is a U.S.-only activity. The sanctions are not part of the deal. That was something that Congress put into law, principally because they thought Hillary Clinton was going to be president and she was going to be weak on Iran, and they wanted a way to kind of ping her on that. So ironically, this is the bill for the wrong president. And the president's kind of flipped that and put it back on the Congress and said, look, you can put pressure on the Iranian governments. I can't do it through the deal, but you can do it unilaterally. And we're not starting from zero because there have been a number of Iranian sanction bills that have been kicking around. So it's not like they're starting with a blank piece of paper. And remember, they just did a huge Russia sanction bill, which just hammered the Russians. So tell me that Congress can do a Russian sanction bill in New York Minute and they can't get an Iran bill done? The optics of that would just be horrible for Congress.
Well, and fair to say, the Iranians don't have a lot of friends in Congress. I mean, you've got 535 folks. I haven't heard one or two come out really like in favor of the Iranians. So there seems to be some support wherever it is on the spectrum. There's two issues in Iran. You've got the Iran nuclear program. You also have the Iranian missile program, which some people say is equally scary. And certainly if you merge those two, it's scary. Take a look at some of the reporting from Reuters recently about the potential here for some movement on the Iranian missile deal, saying the sources said that given U.S. President Donald Trump's threats to ditch the deal reached under his predecessor, Barack Obama, Tehran had approached the powers recently about possible talks on some dimensions of its missile program. The crux of the Reuters reporting is that President Trump's tough talk is bringing the Iranians to the table. That makes sense to you?
You might. We'll have to see if the Iranians are actually seriously interested in that. But one of the reasons why the Iran deal was such a joke is like, well, this is going to keep the Iran from getting a nuclear weapon. No, it's not. It's a pause of a couple of years that the Iranians can well afford to make. But to have a nuclear threat, you have to have a ballistic missile and a nuclear weapon. So they're charging ahead on the key piece of that, which is the delivery system. That's not slowing down at all. So in terms of slowing down or stopping their program, that piece, that's just as big as the nuclear processing and building the weapon.
You think about what you just said. You've got to have a nuclear weapon and a delivery system. Well, somebody who has both of those things is North Korea. We think about the original axis of evil. Those are two of the members of it. Connect the dots for what's happening in North Korea right now and the president's tough language on that with what's happening in Iran.
So North Korea has, by most accounts, made deals to slow down or stop their nuclear program 8 times. And they violated them 8 times, right? So the lesson learned is the notion that somehow you're going to get a country to voluntarily, through this process, give away the one thing they think they have to ensure their security is kind of a fallacy. And why a lot of us were concerned with the Iran deal to begin with, it just defied reality. That the Iranians really wanted a nuclear weapon for their security, the notion that this deal was going to stop that was ludicrous. And it's worse because we gave them literally billions and billions of dollars, which they've used to build their missile program, to fund terrorism. while they really haven't impeded their capability to build a nuclear weapon at all.
Well, on the other side of your argument, noteworthy, the one time the Iranians really did take a big pause in their nuclear weapons program was right after the Iraq War, when they worried they might be next.
Yeah,
so,
the deal was the Iranians became very risk averse after the Iraq War, and we're really not sure that they were speeding their program up when Obama jumped in to give them hundreds of billions of dollars.
All right. Well, we live in interesting times for sure.
Yeah.
James, appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, sir.